Chileans have voted in a runoff presidential election that will determine if the country stays on its center-left course or joins a tide of Latin American nations that have been turning to the right in recent years. The choice was between billionaire and former President Sebastián Piñera, 68, a conservative who was considered the frontrunner but earned fewer votes than expected in last month's first round, and center-left Senator Alejandro Gil, a 64-year-old former TV news anchor. Both candidates would keep in place Chile's long-standing free market economic model, but Piñera has promised lower taxes to turbocharge growth while Gil wants the government to press on with outgoing President Michelle Bachelet's overhaul of education, taxes and labor. The contest takes place before a long stretch of elections in Latin America in 2018. While populist candidates on both the right and the left are polling near the top in the countries with the largest economies, Brazil and Mexico, none advanced to the second round in Chile. The election on Sunday was the first in which Chileans living abroad were allowed to vote, adding another layer of uncertainty. Piñera called for unity after what has been a bitter campaign and reminded Chileans of the national strength they had shown during the rescue of 33 trapped miners in 2010, the high point of his first term that ended in 2014. "My great hope is that after this election, despite the division, we can return to unity," he said after voting in Santiago. Gil told a crowd in his hometown of Antofagasta, near the country's main copper mines. Chile is the world's largest producer of the metal that he was optimistic about winning by a marked difference. Patricio Flores, 36, a construction worker and supporter of 46-year-old journalist Beatriz Sanchez, who polled third in the first round, said, "We can't have a billionaire running our country. Obviously he is going to protect his own interests." Gil, a former radio and television journalist of more modest means than Piñera, has pledged to increase access to free higher education and right workers and indigenous rights into a constitution to replace the current document dating back to the dictatorship era. Piñera, a Harvard-trained economist who made his fortune introducing credit cards to Chile in the 1980s, said he would create a public pension fund to compete with Chile's much-criticized private pension funds, and expand free education. "I voted for Piñera because I am an entrepreneur. I value my own efforts and do not expect much from the government," said Rosario Poma, 53. "I think Piñera will be good for investment.